Hello! Welcome to today's video blog. Today's a very special video blog today, because for all my fellow Outlander fans, we know that Outlander is coming back. Season 4 starts November the 4th, and I think we're getting it the same day here in Canada. Now, as is tradition, to get us through these long Droughtlanders that they have made us suffer through between each season, I like to do what I call what to watch during Droughtlander videos, because we all have to have those shows that get us through the long months between seasons. And so earlier this year, I did a what to watch during Droughtlander to MacGyver, which you can watch here on my channel. I've done a few in the past, but because of the whole mess with my previous channel before, they're no longer available, and that makes me sad. I've done for Escravizada, which is a Brazilian telenovela, and I've done for Kurt Vishura, which is a Turkish drama, which is connected to today's video, because I have for you what to watch during Droughtlander, another Turkish drama. Now, disclaimer right off the beginning, I am going to massacre these names. And I apologize to the actors profusely, because I am going to massacre your name, and so I'm very, very sorry. So today's what to watch during Droughtlander is, the English title is Wounded Love. The Turkish title, again, I apologize, is VatanimSensin. I know that's wrong. I know it's wrong, because 9 times out of 10, when you see a Turkish word, it's nothing like how it's pronounced. It could be Gaelic in the same, or Welsh in the same sort of thing. However you see it spelled, that's not how it's pronounced. 9 times out of 10. So, Wounded Love, going forward, we shall refer to it as Wounded Love, and I shall put the Turkish title, I shall spell it in the description box for you. Wounded Love came onto my radar because of my fellow Kurt Vishura fans on Twitter. And Twitter is an interesting place, but it's got its good parts in that fans that the same thing often, like, you see them talking about it on your feed, and that brings you into like new books, new TV shows, new music, that kind of stuff, and that's awesome. So after Kurt Vishura, I kept seeing these pictures of these 2 young itty bitty cupcakes, and I was like, these 2 are the cutest damn people that I've ever seen. They're so, like, with their little, like, baby faces, and they looked like they were a couple, and and I'm like, who are these little cupcakes? And I kept getting back, oh, that's Hilal, and that's Leon. And I'm like, what is this from? Who are these people? I ship them already, and I don't even know who they are because they're so cute. So they told me that they were from this Turkish drama called Wounded Love. Just Wounded Love, that's what it was called. And the fandom for them is huge. Like, they beat Jamie and Claire in a poll for like TV online TV couple or something like that. They beat Jamie and Claire from Outlander, and they beat this couple from Arrow, which I don't watch. So the fandom is humongous for those 2. So, people started sending me little like clips here and there, and I was like, okay, I need this in my eyeballs right now. Thank you very much. So, a friend of mine was wonderful enough to send me the episodes, and I finished. It's 59 episodes, and each episode is like 2 hours long, and this is pretty standard with Turkish dramas. They're either like an hour or they're either like an hour and a half or like 2 hours 2 hours long. So I finally finished, and about a month ago I finished, and it's taken this long for me to kind of process everything that happened and everything that I saw. And let me just say that, like Kurt Sayet and Vishura, these characters will stay with me forever. The acting was amazing. The writing was amazing. Oh my good grief. Like, the scope of it, the epicness of it, the emotion, the places that this show took the viewer. One of the best pieces of television that I've ever seen, and not just Turkish television, but television, period. One of the best. It is definitely up there. So I wrote some notes down, because I have to start writing things down, because my memory is going the way of the jelly shoe. I can remember book plots for books that I still want to write from like 20 years ago. I can't remember what I had for lunch yesterday. So that's the way my memory is going right now. So I wrote down some things that I wanted to talk about in the show, and hopefully that'll get you to want to watch it. Now, obviously, I'm learning more Turkish thanks to these shows. I mean, I can like pick out certain words here and there, but I am not fluent in Turkish by any stretch of the imagination. So thank God for all these wonderful fans who do the English subtitles for us over here in North America, so that we can become just as obsessed with these shows as you guys are. And so Wounded Love is set during the early 1900s, and it's set during the Greek-Turkish War. And the Greeks are occupying this small this town, this city in Turkey, and it's the main story is between Cevdet, played by, oh sweet Moses, I should have that window up, the one with the actor's name so I can pronounce them. Oh Lord, Halit Ergents, I think is his name. I'm so sorry. Where are you? Okay, let me go to no, not that page. I need the cast page. Who plays Cevdet, who is a Turkish soldier, and his wife Azize, who is played by, and I didn't know this at the time, but his real life wife, Cevdet's real life wife, Bergüzar Korel, who, oh my good gracious, these two are just amazing, amazing actors. And so Cevdet is off fighting in the war, and Cevdet has a friend called Tevfik, and Tevfik wants him some Azize. So what does Tevfik do? Tevfik shoots Cevdet in the back, and so Azize thinks he's dead. And Tevfik comes back and is this supportive friend who, is there for Azize and her 2 daughters and her son. And just Tevfik is our Petro from Kurtseya Fishura. Y'all remember Petro? He's Petro in this. Tevfik is our Petro. And he, like, you know, schemes to get in with Azize and like make her depend on him and be her friend. Meanwhile, wanting to get into her pants. But Cevdet doesn't die. He survives and ends up in this prison where he meets up with this sort of like the leader of the resistance, I guess, of the Turkish against the Greeks. He's like the leader of the resistance, and this guy convinces Cevdet to infiltrate the Greeks, posing as a to be a spy, posing as a Greek soldier, and that's where our story begins. So Cevdet comes back as a Greek soldier, confusing the fuck out of everybody, including his wife, and his poor daughter Halal, who has always looked up to her father and is totally destroyed by this betrayal. But it only fuels her fight against the Greeks, because she is this little Turkish itty bitty bit of badassery in a little tiny body. She is, yeah. But Cevdet and Azize, they're like the main story, and I just love how Azize, like, she loves her husband, even as she feels betrayed by him, because he can't tell anybody. He can't tell anybody that he's actually a spy in the Greek army, because it will compromise his mission. Now, a lot of him not being able to tell people things causes very much problems in his marriage, and Azize feels betrayed by him, but they still love each other, and that love is still there, and they end up doing the thing that Turkish television doesn't usually show, because, you know, Halal and Yildiz, her sister, they came to their parents by, like, storks. You know, there's no sex. There's no sex shown in Turkish television. So Azize and Cevdet, even though she feels betrayed by her husband, the love is strong enough that she sleeps with him and ends up getting pregnant. Now, because her husband is a traitor, if people find out that she is still in love with him and slept with him, it will be very much bad for her. And she'll be labeled a traitor herself and a whore and blah, blah, blah. So, she takes up Tevfik's oh so compassionate offer to marry her and claim the child as his own. Isn't that nice of Tevfik? Wasn't it nice of him to offer that? He's such a good friend. So, also one of the people who cannot know that Cevdet is actually a spy is his mother, hereto referred to as Granny. We love Granny. Granny is so awesome. Granny gives no F's. Even though she is a woman of her time, and, you know, she's all about, like, tradition and you know, and moral values and all that stuff, but Granny has a hella steel in her. Like, she is a badass in her own right. and she is very disappointed and very hurt by the fact that Cevdet is now Greek. So she disowns him in a way, but you can tell that this is still a mother who loves her child. But she cannot accept what she sees as his betrayal, and Cevdet keeps trying to, to keep his mother's approval and not lose his mother's love. At the same time, he has to do this mission. So there's that. Then we move on to the kiddies. Cevdet and Azize have 3 children. Kind of. I'll get to that in a second. We have Hilal and we have Yildiz. Hilal is she's our Claire Fraser of the group from Outlander fans. She is not the meek and obedient type. She's an unusual lady. She does not do what she's told, ever. Ever. And she fights against the Greeks. Initially not with violence, because she abhors violence and she doesn't want bloodshed. So she thinks that to change people by changing their ideas is the way to go. So she and her fellow rebels, they write secret, seditious, treasonous articles to distribute to the people to get them to rise up against the Greeks and to inspire them and that kind of thing. So she is very much, get the Greeks the hell out of our town. And then she meets Leon. Leon is a Greek soldier who, Hilal is played brilliantly by the young, I think she was only 17 when she started, Mireille Danner. Mireille Danner, I think that's how you say her name. It's probably not. Again, I apologize. This girl can act, y'all, like, oh my god. She is one of the best on-screen criers this way of Jeannie Francis from General Hospital. You soap fans, if you're in Hospital, you know what I'm talking about. Jeannie Francis can, like, cry like nobody's business. This girl, Marie Danner, she's up there. She's up to, like, Jeannie Francis level. When she cries, she breaks your heart, and she sounds like this wounded animal that's just, it's just heartbreaking. So, Hilal meets Leon, and Leon is an upstanding Greek soldier, and he's all about, being the obedient soldier, and he believes in the Greek cause, and he thinks that the Greeks occupying this town will be like a good thing, and he has like all these like ideals that they're not bad ideals, they're just wrong. But he thinks that sorry, my screen just went. He thinks that they can bring positive things. And Leon, played by, again, I apologize, Boran Kuzum, I'm sorry, who has now joined my cougar list and has now surpassed Zac Efron as the head of my cougar list. This boy is beautiful. Right now it's Boran Kuzum, Cole Sprouse, Zac Efron, Justin Timberlake. That's my cougar list as of now. I do not laminate it because it will change. But okay, so played by Brian Kazum, Leon meets Hilal, and automatically it's heads clashing completely, because Hilal is this Turkish rebel girl, and Leon is a Greek, and all Greeks must die. But when you first meet them, when Leon actually starts flirting with Hilal's sister, Yildiz, played brilliantly by the gorgeous Pinar Deniz. Again, I apologize. So there, in the beginning, it's sort of like headed like they're a little bit of a flirtation there. Some say that it was originally supposed to be Leon and Yildiz as a couple, but then fans wanted him with Hilal, and that it's fan service or whatever. I'm like, sorry, no. I believe that they started the flirtation with Yildiz just to bring him into Hilal's orbit, because I'm sorry, from the first scene these two have together, Leon and Hilal, it's there. It's there. The spark is there. The chemistry is there. Leon and Yildiz are superficial, and like they're cute in like a friend kind of way, and it's just like there's definitely the attraction is played there, but it's completely like superficial and nothing like, so you can't, at least I couldn't see these two sustaining anything long term. The second that Hilal and Leon get on screen together, y'all, the chemistry between these two actors, I just cannot. It is insane. It's so good and so strong, and I just, they have this, slowly like things start to unravel where Hilal and Leon meet, but they're still very much set in their ways, and want to, uphold their ideals, their individual, very at odds ideas. Then Leon finds out that a friend of his, a Greek friend of his, is actually a rebel. And this friend, starts to like get him thinking that, oh, maybe, this isn't, it starts to sort of open up Leon's ideas a bit more, and start to like play with the way that he's thinking, that maybe what we're doing here isn't so great. And then the friend gets arrested and is going to be executed, and Leon tries to tell his father that, this is my best friend that I've grown up with since childhood. And he doesn't want his best friend to die, so he tries to get his father to be more lenient and be more compassionate, and maybe you can just imprison him, but like don't kill him, because that's not going to solve anything, and blah blah blah. Leon's father, Dimitry, can see what's happening to Leon, and he doesn't like it. He doesn't like that his son is challenging what he's about, what he's there to do. So as punishment for Leon challenging him, he has Leon give the order when his best friend is facing the firing squad, and he has Leon give the order for his best friend to be shot. And I think that more than like Leon meeting Halal or anything, like when Leon meets Halal, he still has those rigid sort of ideas. For me, the moment where he starts to change is the moment when he has to give that order to kill his friend. Dimitry thought that, I say this, Dimitry thought that he was punishing Leon for challenging him and for trying to be compassionate. But in reality, it backfired on Dimitry, because I think that's the moment where Leon, the old Leon, died. And the new Leon, who started to believe more stronger and stronger, this is not right, what we're doing here is not right, was born in that moment where he had to kill his friend. So Hilal and Leon, they slowly start to get closer and challenge each other, and he slowly starts to come around to the idea that she's in the right to fight against what is happening to her people. So at great risk to him, he starts helping her in different ways. Now she is still, they're still fighting all the while, this attraction to each other, but you can see that Leon is fighting it less and less. He's surrendering it to it more quickly than she is. And I think that makes complete sense, because Halal is the female in the relationship, and back then the female was the one who had the most to lose. But gradually they do give in to each other, and I'll get back to them in a second. But in the middle of all this is with Chevdet and Azize and Halal and Leon. In the middle of all this is Ali, who, when I said Chevdet and Azize had 3 children, I added kinda, because Ali is not their biological child. Chevdet found Ali in a village that was being pillaged and ransacked and burned. He found him and saved him and brought him into his house to raise as his own. Now, Ali knows, and they've always known, that Ali is not their biological child, and Ali has always wondered about his biological parents. There's a bit of a, like, with the whole thing with Yildiz and Leon, she wants her some Leon, Yildiz does, but there's also this kind of undercurrent of attraction between Yildiz and Ali, who is her foster brother. So there's a bit of a incestual Flowers in the Attic kind of vibe going on there that I am all for. I love me some Flowers in the Attic. So that does not bother me, like, in the least, what was happening there with Yildiz and Ali. I was so on board. I was on board with Yildiz and Ali. I shipped it. I shipped it hard. And so for the longest time, Yildiz is all about getting her some Leon and fighting this attraction that she has to her foster brother. And so Ali is this also a rebel who gets in with Halal and her friends, who are these wonderful, precious cupcakes of men. I call them Halal's band of merry men, because they are just these wonderful, wonderful characters. Lutfu, Chesmi, and Osman. And Mehmet, the beardy douche nozzle, who also wants him some halal and is more of the violent, let's just kill everybody kind of guy. And his hot-headedness leads them to a lot of bad situations. But so Ali gets in with Hilal and what they're doing, and there's this fantastic. Anytime Ali and Leon were in a scene together, I was all there for it because there are these two gorgeous-looking men. I don't care what you think about the actors. Ali is played by Kubilay Aka. Again, I apologize. Played brilliantly. I mean, that guy is a fantastic actor. And his scenes with Leon, I lived for their scenes because they were so good. These two strong men who just hated each other, yet they didn't want to, but I think there was an undercurrent of not necessarily respect, but they hated what each other stood for. But I think if it wasn't for that they would have been friends. And I kept waiting for that moment where they would not, where they would become frenemies, for lack of a better word. So Ali and Leon have this contentious relationship that ends up turning very, very interesting, because it turns out that Ali is actually, yes, say it with me, Leon's brother. I did not see that coming. Now, mind you, I figured eventually that they would become friends. I did not see that they would become brothers. But it turns out that the baby that Cevdet saved was the baby that Dimitry and his wife Veronica thought had died in their house in a fire, which spurred Dimitri's hatred of the Turks. There's that thing where there are no innocent people here. Everybody on both sides has blood on their hands. There are bad Greeks, there are good Greeks. There are bad Turks, there are good Turks. And that sort of is the center of the story. So it turns out that Ali is actually Leon's brother and Dimitry and Veronica's son. Now, as Cevdet's mission becomes more and more complicated and involved, there are traitors from all sides, and there are people who are trying to expose the traitors, and there's a moment where Dimitry finds out that what Cevdet has done and that he's a spy, and so he has his whole family, Cevdet's whole family, arrested. The wife, the Yildiz, Hilal, the granny. Wait, you go and arrest the granny, really? And he's gonna have them all executed. So Cevdet, I think it's he that tells Veronica that Ali is actually their son. That Ali is actually Dimitry and Veronica's son. So they, of course, Dimitry doesn't want to believe this, and he thinks that Cevdet is just playing him. But of course, there's a scar that Ali has that he's supposedly got when Veronica actually accidentally burned him with some boiling water. And Ali, of course, has this scar, and that proves that he is the baby that they thought that had died. Uh, so Chevdet uses this to get Dimitry to release Ali and to he basically plays Dimitry. Not that it's not true, because it is true that Ali is their son. But Chevdet gets him, uses that information to save his own family. At the same time, Chevdet turns it around and gets the other Greek officials to arrest Dimitry, and says that he's the one that's been the traitor the whole time, and the reason he was that he was a traitor was because he was he was actually working with the Turks because Ali is his son, and that Chevdet does Dimitry really dirty. But I'm totally okay with that, because Dimitry was going to have no problem slaughtering Chevdet's whole family. So I'm okay with the fact that Chevdet turned it around and, to save his family, killed Dimitry, or had Dimitry executed as a traitor. Leon is a little bit less okay with this, but Leon is conflicted because he knows his father was wrong, and he, of course, didn't want Hilal to die, because by this time they are in love with each other. But at the same time, the woman he loves, her father killed his father. So there's all kinds of like angst and ridiculous, awesome, crazy sauce up in this show. So Ali is very much not okay with the fact that Leon is his brother. Leon is very much not okay with the fact that Ali is his brother. And Ali's reaction to finding out that Dimitry and Veronica are his parents, so good. So good, this guy is, there are people in the fandom who don't like him for, shippy reasons, which, there are people who like real life ship, Mireille and Boran, the actors who play Hilal and Leon. I totally get it. I fantasy ship them like you do not believe. But I fantasy ship them because in real life, Mireille is actually going out with Kubilay, who plays Ali, who plays her foster brother. They're actually a couple in real life. Which, great, wonderful, happy for them. But there are people in the fandom who are just, they're like the Sam Cat extreme shippers, who are just vile people. I'm not talking about the regular Sam Cat shippers. I'm talking about the extreme conspiracy ass, crazy ass shippers, people who like spread hate. I'm talking about those people. There are those same kind of people in who ship Boran and Mireille together. So Ali is so not okay with the fact that he is actually Greek and not Turkish. And he wants to end his life, and Yildiz stops him, and they have this like beautiful scene together, and then Leon shows up and they fight because Leon has just lost his father. They've just lost their father, and he blames, rightly, he blames Chevdet, and he blames Ali for that by association. So they fight, and Veronica is just trying to like, she's so happy that her baby is alive that she can't really see anything else. and she wants so hard for Ali to accept her as his mother, and he can't. Eventually, he of course comes around, but he can't. Um, and they've just got some really, really fantastic scenes together. The writing on the show is amazing. Um, Yildiz, the sister, who originally in season one, if anybody who has read The Bronze Horseman, if you know who the character Dasha is, who is this superficial, thoughtless, just wants what she wants, and to hell with everybody else, um, and just doesn't see like what's right in front of her eyes. Like Yildiz is that same kind of way. She thinks that, oh, the Greeks are occupying our town, but it'll be okay because look at what they're bringing us. They're bringing us, fancy, fancy balls and like parties, and like it's just gonna be, all like culture and just wonderful for our town. And um, she doesn't see the undercurrent of the oppression that's happening. She just believes that it's all wrapped up in a pretty bow, and of course that's what it is. That's her thought process. Um, so she doesn't see this thing that's happening between Leon and her sister. And when she starts to suspect it, Hilal is still fighting it. So she, of course, denies that there's any feelings at all between her and Leon. And no, I hate the Greeks and blah, blah, blah. And like, are you crazy? But yet, you see it like little by little, like Hilal, is distracted by Leon and gets jealous when Yildiz and Leon are, when it looks like they're going to be a couple, and Hilal is brokenhearted. Um, and so Aziz very much so is not on board with Yildiz and Leon being a thing. Never mind Hilal and Leon, that comes later. But in the beginning, she's very much not on board, because Leon is a Greek and blah, blah, blah. So she arranges for Yildiz to get married to this doctor dude, who actually ends up being a spy. A good spy, like a Turkish spy, doing things for the Turkish resistance. Um, Yildiz, God bless her, she doesn't think before she acts. So, thinking that this is going to save her from getting married to the man, she goes to Dimitry and tells him what she knows about her husband's husband to be. Like, Azize forces her to marry him and they get married, but she wants to get out of it. She wants her husband to be arrested and she wants to be free. So she goes to Dimitry and tells him that her husband is involved in all these like seditious, treasonous activities. So they ambush Yildiz and her husband, because the husband's going to take her away to live with him in some village to like complete his mission or whatever. And so they ambush them and end up killing the husband, which Yildiz is horrified and shocked by this, and everybody around her is like, what did you think was going to happen? And then she's like, I just wanted them to arrest him. I didn't want them to kill him. So that's sort of the way Yildiz's mind works in season one. She's selfish. She doesn't think before she acts. She's a schemer. And then comes season two. And season two picks up. Ali and Veronica have kind of mended fences, and he wants to try and have a relationship with her. And so she goes back to Greek, and Ali and Leon goes with her. Leon wants Hilal to come with him, but she says no. Like my life is here. I can't leave while my town is still, while the fight is still going on, while the war is still going on. And Leon is like, I can't leave my mother because I'm all she has left. And so in the end of season 1, that's how it looks like that they're parting ways. Season 2, we get Yıldız's redemption. And there are people who, you know, they don't like season 2. They think that the writing and the way the storylines played out didn't make sense. I thought season 2 was brilliantly written. I loved I loved season 1. I loved season 2. And I thought Yıldız's redemption was brilliantly done because it happens slowly. She grows up slowly. And so Hilal and Leon are separated. They're sort of like Jamie and Claire in the sense that no good thing happens when they're separated. Hilal gets put in prison, and, you know, for her treasonous activities, and Leon comes back, but he was originally gonna, you know, leave. He had originally left the Greek army because people found out about the things that he had done to help Hilal and to help the Turkish cause, and he was going to be, you know, he had to, like, also run with his mother because otherwise he would be caught and executed. So he comes back and he's in the Greek uniform, and Hilal is all confused, and so were the viewers, until he explained to her that he's now a Bolshevik. He's now he now is essentially Chevdet in the Greek army. Mind you, he doesn't know yet that Chevdet is a spy. At this point, Azize does know. I think she's the only one that knows. And she learns about Tevik's betrayal and blah, blah, blah. And so her and Chevdet are, like, back together, but secretly back together because Chevdet is still supposed to be a spy in the Greek army. Now, Leon is a spy, but we didn't, like, nobody can know that except he tells Hilal because he loves her, and she's so destroyed by the idea that he could possibly still be her enemy even though they love each other. But he assures her that no, this is still my cover, and I'm actually working with the resistance now. So we're all good on that front. Leon brings with him a little someone. Alexei. Alexei, played by Berker? Go get the cast list here. Oh, where are you? Full cast and crew. Yes, that's what I want. Where are you? Fantastic actor. Like, oh my god. Directed, nope. Berker, where are you? Berker Guven. And I know I pronounced that wrong, and I apologize. But yeah. Who originally comes off as this fun, happy-go-lucky, good time guy who I think, oh, that's nice, Leon has a friend now. Nope. Alexei quickly graduates from Cousin Cupcake to Cousin Cuckoo. He is fracking insane, this boy. And he likes him some Yıldız. Their first interaction, he actually saves her from these guys, and that are, like, attacking her because everybody hates her now because of what happened with her husband, even though she keeps trying to tell them that I didn't want him to die, and now everybody hates me. I'm like, yeah, because you got the guy killed. So he saves Yildiz from these attackers, and the first scene, you know, he wants her to thank him, and he like points a gun to his head and says like if she's not like appreciative that he's gonna kill himself. It's just, this guy's insane. This guy's insane. And his father, Philippos, played by, oh wow, what is his name? Levent. Oh, what is his name? No, that would be up there. He is now the leader of the Greek army. There he is, Levent Can, who in pictures and in videos comes off as like the sweetest, nicest man. And I'm sure the actor is a lovely human being because he certainly comes off that way. On screen, holy balls, this guy. Like, he is just evil, cuckoo evil. And he's Alexi's father. And so Leon comes, and Leon is now living in their, or well, Philippos and Alexi are now living in Leon's house. Leon's family house. Because I think Philippos is Leon's uncle by her sister, by Veronica, by his mother. So Philippos is, I think, Veronica's brother. So Alexi is sort of brought up always trying to get his father's approval by being as much of a bastard and a hole as he can. Yet he's kind of crazy, so he kind of goes a little overboard. And Philippos is very like rigid and military, and you know, you do what you have to do, kind of thing. Alexi is like all over the place and just has like no discipline at all. And in that, I think, is why Philippos is always so hard on him and angry with him, and they have this very contentious relationship, where Philippos actually likes Leon more than he likes his own son, which is ironic because Leon is constantly going behind his back and you know, being a traitor. So Alexi grows resentful of Leon and starts scheming against him, and finds out that Leon is in this relationship with this Turkish girl, Hilal, and starts using that against him to blackmail him. And it's just crazy, crazy sauce. Azize in season 2, we will have a conversation about now, because her character takes a turn that, for the majority of the show, I loved how Azize was written. She was this strong woman who, you know, had her led with her heart and her morals, and was just, she was a nurse, and she, you know, was this real strong guiding force for her daughters. And then in season 2, she has gone off to help this village. She's left their city to go help the people who need medical help in this other village, and they get ambushed by these Greek soldiers, and Azize had, like, at this point has had her baby and has her baby with her. Now, that I didn't like how they wrote that this pregnant woman goes off by herself. Well, not by herself. She went to with like the medical team and all that. But she is about to give birth and she goes and leaves the city to go help these villagers. I'm like, no, girl, you're about to have a baby. Stay home. But that's not what happened. So she goes off and gets their ship gets attacked by these Greek soldiers, and it, most of the everybody is shot and killed, and she believes, but Azize survives, but not before she gets raped by this horrible, horrible Greek soldier, and she believes that her baby is dead, and he shoots her and leaves her there to die. But another Greek soldier who was there, who actually has compassion, saves the baby, and the baby ends up remarkably ends up on Hilal's home doorstep, because of course it would. The baby gets left there with we found this baby. We are not able to take care of it. We know that, like, if you can, like, give it to the hospital and maybe they can find a home for it, kind of thing. So Azize comes to believing that her baby has died, and she is this broken woman because of she believes that Chevdet has died because at the end of season 1 he arranges this thing where he blows up the military headquarters after Dimitry is executed to, I guess, to blow them all to Kingdom Come. So fine. Chevdet, of course, survives, and Azize, of course, survives. So now they're on opposite sides of the world, thinking each other is dead. And then Azize becomes a part of the Turkish resistance, but more of the mercenary kind, who go around shooting and just executing people, and she becomes this, like, soldier type person and this, like, warrior with a gun type person, which I just felt did not fit her character at all. Like, that's not who Azize was, and I read somewhere that it was the actress who wanted the character to take that to change that character into that, and I'm loath to say that an actress is wrong in how they want to portray their character and what they think is best for their character, but in my opinion, as a viewer, I think that was the wrong choice, because that's not who Azize was, and I think that was a change that didn't work for her. And thankfully, they changed that eventually. Like, when Azize comes back and is reunited with her family, it's beautiful, and she once again becomes this strong woman who is genuinely strong and not just this badass warrior kind of strong that it works for some characters if and again, like, there's this ideal that strong necessarily has to mean crazy, or like angry, and that's not, in my opinion, that's not true strength. I mean, if you're going to be angry all the time, you better have a damn good reason. And I suppose, yes, what she'd been through is a good reason, but it's not how she has dealt with grief and obstacle challenges far. I mean, everything that Azize had been through didn't make her an angry, and to all of a sudden turn her sort of into that just felt really, really wrong. So I was happy when they pulled back on that and sort of brought her back to her core, which was this strong woman, but this warm woman and this loving woman. And a major thing that came out of what she'd been through that I thought was a positive thing was that she became a bit more open-minded to the idea that there are good, that Hilal falling in love with a Greek soldier wasn't the end of the world, and it could actually be a good thing, and like bring, help them in their fight. So that was a good outcome of what Aziz had went through, in my opinion. The whole like her being a badass soldier kind of thing, that did not work for me. That's just my opinion. So Yildiz slowly starts to mature when when Philippos, as like a superficial act, wants to well, first he wants to destroy the hospital, and because he wants to, of course he wants to get rid of all the Turks, so as punishment he wants to destroy the hospital and get rid of all the Turkish people, and somehow someone convinces him that it would be bad PR because I think the king of Greece or something was coming, and then it would look really bad if he were to do that. So Cevdet convinces him that not to kill the people in the hospital, but instead turn it into an orphanage. Because Hilal and Mehmet find these children hiding in the Turkish hills because their village had been destroyed by the Greeks. So for the longest time, they're hiding these children, and that also helps Yıldız's maturity, because at first she's like, I don't want these kids living here. Like, what the hell? Like, how am I gonna like live my life and I have to like deal with these kids and blah blah. Slowly she starts coming around, and she starts like she's not a bad person. She was just like a selfish person, and she grows to like not be that much anymore, not that bad, and actually like help the children, and it's a slow process, but I think it's a good and well written process. So Cevdet convinces Philippos not to kill the children, but instead turn the hospital into an orphanage where they can keep the children. Meanwhile, Philippos wants to, like, it's under his nose, basically, because he owns the orphanage, and he has Alexei be his manager at the orphanage. So now they're the children are saved, but they're stuck because they can't, like, Halal and her friends and all this, they can't do anything because they're stuck under Philippos's and Alexei's watch all the time. So Cevdet sort of feels, the walls of his mission kind of closing in, and it starts to get to him, and he needs something for his mission to work. He arranges it for Yildiz to marry his spy partner, Jakob, played by Fatih Artman. And I know that's wrong, and I apologize. But this darling tree of a man who is so, like, not the marrying kind that he doesn't know what to do with a wife like Yildiz. I mean, but it's perfect. I mean, that was a pairing I never saw coming. Holy crap, I don't think anybody saw that coming. But from their first scenes together, she is this spoiled, like, she's starting to get better, and I think that's what makes the pairing work, is that she's at her core a good person, and she's trying to grow into this good person, and that if Jakob just gives her time and doesn't give up on her, that they could be beautiful, amazing, and that is what happened with a lot of speed bumps and sorry, this is going a little wonky. Okay, with a lot of speed, not and very bad decisions along the way. Because Yildiz doesn't know that Jakob is a spy, because Yildiz doesn't know that her father is a spy. So she's married to this guy who she thinks is a merchant, and he's doing all these, like, spy things behind her back. And so instead of admitting that he's a spy, he thinks it's better if she thinks that he's having an affair with the maid in Philippos's house. A poor Turkish girl who he draws into his crazy by getting her to spy on Philippos, because Philippos likes the Turkish girl and wants to get into her pants. So Jakob puts this poor girl Hava in danger just so Yildiz will think he's having an affair with her, so Yildiz won't find out that he's actually a spy. Y'all, I can just hear the CIA being like, this is why we don't want married men in our organization. Because you hear all these stories about, like, I was married to him for 20 years and I had no idea he was a spy in the CIA. And I'm just like, tell your wives what the hell is going on, because believe me, it's better for you if they know that you're in the CIA than believing that you're having an affair. Jakob is just lucky that Yildiz didn't shoot him like Halal shot Leon. I'm sorry, that was an awesome moment. Also, the first moment where Halal realized that she loved Leon was the moment that she shot him. Of course, that, a romance novel coming soon. So gradually Yildiz and Jakob start falling in love, and it's very inconvenient for Jakob. He doesn't like it, but he can't help it, because love, the heart wants what it wants. So he's just like, she makes these bad decisions, and he's very, like, angry with her, and kind of like, finally she does one thing that he can't forgive, and he decides that he's going to divorce her, and basically pushes her into Alexi's arms, because Alexi still wants him some Yildiz. And as part of his cover, Jakob has to partner with Alexi in what was Ali's old bar, because Ali used to own a bar, but now that he's gone, which, that was another thing for season 2. I wish Veronica and Ali came back. Not because I wanted Ali back with Yildiz, but I thought it would be really interesting, because when Leon comes back, he tells Yildiz that Ali got married, um, and because he's trying to move on with his life and he's trying to forget her, which Yildiz is of course brokenhearted, but then she finds Jakob and they fall in love and it's all good. And I would really have liked a scene where Ali and Yildiz come back together, not like together, but like in a scene together, and talk about how they found happiness with these other people. I would have liked that scene. And I would have wanted Veronica to come back because I just loved her character. I loved her character so much. So, Yildiz and Jakob eventually get out of their own way and find happiness together, and it's beautiful, and just a pairing that nobody, I believe, saw coming. Just worked so perfectly. So we talked about Dimitry and Veronica. Philippos, who I nicknamed Philippos, we can't swear on YouTube. Philippos the effer, let's just say. Look, Halal and her band of merry men, which I love their relationship so much. Lutfu is this curly-haired, precious little cupcake who is just, he's so like naive and innocent and just, like, oh, I loved his character so much. And Chesme and Osman, and I loved their friendship so much. That is why when Chevdet finds out that Philippos is onto him, he arranges for this prison break by digging this tunnel, and getting all these like Turkish people out. But Philippos finds out about the tunnel, and then Chevdet finds out that Philippos finds out, so he arranges a separate tunnel to be built, a fake tunnel, so that Philippos thinks it's that tunnel that the prisoners are going to escape from. So him being the smarty pants that he is, oh, I think my screen might be frozen. Yeah, because I've been talking a lot. So hopefully I'm unfrozen now. So Philippos arranges it for Chevdet to blow up the tunnel as a sort of, you think you're so smart, well, I got you, I'm gonna make you blow up the tunnel with your friends inside. Hilal thinks her friends are inside, and all the town gathers to see like what is going on with, they're all gathered around this tunnel thing, and like what's going on. And so Chevdet gives the order to blow up the tunnel, and all you see is Hilal's face, thinking that her friends are inside and that her father just blew up the tunnel and killed her closest friends. I could not with that scene. That whole, like, I still get goosebumps thinking about that scene, and Mireille's performance in that scene, and just how she just is destroyed by the idea that her friends are dead because of her father, who, despite everything, she still loves her father and wishes that her father was not this Greek traitor that she believes him to be. And so she goes, I think that's the part that she's finally broken, and she goes to kill her father. She's so grief-stricken that she goes to actually kill her father. But thankfully, Jakob shows up with the friends in tow. So they show up behind him. Hilal realizes that it was all a setup, and then she realizes that her father set the whole thing up, because her father is not a Greek soldier, but he's not a traitor. He's actually an undercover spy. Y'all, that moment, all the awards. Oh my god, I'm getting goosebumps just remembering that moment when she finally finds out that her father is not a traitor. When he shows her the Turkish flag that she gave him, and she starts to understand everything, and they fall into each other's arms. Oh my god. I'm still emotional thinking about that moment. Like, the performance from both of them, all the awards. Oh my god, all the awards. Just, oh. Another all the awards moment was when Alexei tells his father that Leon is a traitor. First of all, the moment that Shevdet finds out that Leon is actually a spy, I liked that moment very, very much. But then Alexei finds out, and so then Philippos finds out, because he tells his father, and arranges for Hilal to be killed. He has a guy shoot Hilal. And that whole episode, and the one following it after, is just heartbreaking. Just so heartbreaking for like all the characters, but especially Leon's character. Because at this point, he and Hilal are secretly married, or not secretly anymore. Everybody found out that when they find out that the two of them got secretly married. That was hysterical, because the whole episode after that, everyone in their families, in different variations, wants to know, how married are you? Like, are you married? Like, really married? Like, did you do it? The whole episode long. This is what people want to know. And that was just hysterical. So that was a nice bit of humor among all the angst. But then Philippos finds out that, or Philippos arranges for Hilal to get shot and Hilal to get killed. But of course she doesn't die. But that whole episode where Leon is just broken, not knowing if the love of his life is going to survive or if the love of his life is going to die. His performance, Boran, just, oh my god, all the awards for that boy. Another thing that did not work for me was, in season 1, there's this character, this British diplomat called Hamilton, Richard Hamilton. I call him the British Hamilton, British asshole Hamilton. And he is just this guy who's like working with the Greeks and just being like awful to like Turkish people, and he nudges Dimitry to burn down this Turkish village, and they all go hide in this place, and he has Dimitry burn it while people are still inside. That for me was a deal breaker, because in season 2 they try and redeem Hamilton, because he has this sister who is like constantly trying to be like, oh, like you know, the Turks are actually good people, and like we shouldn't be oppressing them, and blah blah blah. So in season 2, they try and redeem Hamilton, which for me did not work because that scene where Dimitry, for all his fault, and yes, he was going to, you know, slaughter Chevdet's family, but that came after. Because in my opinion, that was when he sort of tipped the scale into full-on bloodthirsty dictator. Up to that point, he was a bad person, but he wasn't evil in my opinion. And he let Hamilton nudge him into burning down this village with people in, like, burning down this building, this structure with the people inside it. And that for me was the deal breaker with Hamilton. I didn't care that they were trying to redeem him. I hated him until he died, until Chevdet killed him, and I was happy. Same with Tevik. Tevik at least was a little entertaining, but I was glad when Chevdet finally killed that fucker too. So, oh my goodness, this is an hour and 20 minutes long. So, yeah, that, you know, I'm not gonna spoil the ending for you, even though, like, I discussed, like, a lot of things and stuff, but, needless to say that the focus of the story, or like the main couple of the story, is Chevdet and Azize. But the ones, like, gradually it became Hilal and Leon's story. And I think that was a wise idea because of how it ended. And I loved these characters so much. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I forgot to mention. I don't think so. I hope not, because this is an hour and 20 minutes long already. Just, if you haven't seen it, Outlander comes back November 4th. It's available. Wounded Love is definitely worth watching if you can find the English subtitles. It's available on Turkflix.com. I'm sure there's other places that you can just Google Vatanim Sensin or Wounded Love with English subtitles, and I'm sure you can find it. It's 59 episodes. Every episode is like 2 hours long. It's a perfect emotional, epic, brilliantly written show, brilliantly acted for you guys to catch up on before Outlander comes back on November 4th. So that's going to be the end of this video. And wow, an hour and a half. And I didn't even, like, I didn't want to, like, spoil the ending, but so I'm glad I didn't. But this story, I'm still obsessed with this show. I'm doing, like, fan vids for this show, if you see on my channel. And yeah, that's gonna be it for this week's video vlog. Follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/authorejamie, because I post a lot of Wounded Love and Hylion. That's their ship name. Hilal and Leon together. That's their ship name. I ship it hard. I post a lot of that kind of stuff, the fandom stuff there. Like my Facebook page at facebook.com/authorejamie, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye!